because the world, when it comes to people that are disabled or elderly or vulnerable, they've got a thing where they don't want to offend and they don't want to tell him anything. So they said to me, I was the first person to treat him normal, and they loved it. They loved it. And I said to myself on that day, because you're in a wheelchair or disabled, you ain't no different from me or you or anybody else.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
And stick around to the very end because we got some outtakes that's been happening.
There's always outtakes, and the team does collect them for bloopers on the YouTube, but we're adding them into the end of the pod because you know what? You need to know that we are not perfect, you're not perfect,
and we're enjoying the process.
And we are enjoying that. So have a good laugh on our behalf. Love you.
All right, loves, get ready. First of all, this is a little warning. I'm a fast talker, and our guest today is an excited and meets my speed, and has a lovely accent. So, if you normally listen to things on 2.0, may I suggest a 1.5, 1.25, or 1.0? I cannot wait for you to hear our guest today, Javeno McLean, because this man is doing some incredible things in this world. I have been watching him from afar as a diehard follower, and it meant the world to me. Like, it was, I didn't tell him this. I went to DM him to be on the podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had this like a moment of imposter syndrome. Like, well, what if he says no? And then I was like, well, what if he says no? Then I'll just ask him again. I'll just wait. I was like, maybe his people will block because like we're a smaller podcast. We're not that small, but we're smaller in this world of podcasts. And I had the story that I told myself, and I was like, dang it. I just spent an hour watching all of his videos. I just spent an hour smiling and with tears of joy in my eye. And I was showing him to Brad. I'm going to just DM him because the worst case scenario is he probably won't even see it. I'll just be in purgatory in his DMs. And you know what? He said yes. And I cannot wait for you to hear in this episode why he said yes. And I also hope that this episode is a reminder to you that you are the only person who can do what you do the way that you do it. You're it. And to be true to who you are and being it till you see it is 1000% you stepping into that each and every day. And it's not going to be easy, but it's harder to be someone else. So without further ado, here is Javeno McLean. All right, be it babe. I have been stalking this guest for quite some time in all the best ways. Shout out to Steven Spinelli, my bestie's husband, who sent me a reel from this man. And I have been like sitting by going, I got to just ask him. And when I did, he said, yes. So you guys, Javeno McLean is our guest today. Javeno, will you tell everyone who you are and what you rock at?
Oh, well, I hate doing things like this, but I'm Javeno. I'm just a 38-year-old man from Manchester, England, who likes to make people happy. I like to try and put a bit of love and joy in the world and a little bit of exercise while I'm doing it. That's it. That's it. The rest of it, you can find out yourself. Google it.
I love it so much. Okay, so you're from Manchester. I guess I want to start with like, how did you get started? Because obviously you're a fitness trainer, you do these amazing things, but you're more than that for people. And I think anyone listening to this, we have a lot of fitness and professionals who listen to this. They get into this wanting to be more than just moving people and working people out. Like, my story is like Pilates changed my life. So I want to just help everyone change their life. But at some point, sometimes you get derailed, like you get distracted, there's things, but you seem to have been like really sparking joy and making people shine through what you're doing. So how did you get started in it?
To be honest, Lesley, it was an accident. It was something that it wasn't the plan. The plan was always from day one to just show people that exercise, when it's done with the right environment, with the right music, you get me, the right vibe, anyone can can enjoy it. I can make anyone fall in love with exercise if the environment's right. And a long time ago, and the crazy thing, Les, is everything that's happening for me recently, I've been doing the same things for 22 years. I was never a social media person. I felt like we became a bit of I'm not sure what it's like in America, but in England sometimes, is it called clout chasing, where people will film things. Let's say if it's a homeless man, instead of just giving that person a sandwich or a cup of coffee, they have to film, look what I'm doing, I'm here with Lesley. And it kind of dilutes the message. It takes away, you should want to do things from the goodness of your own heart. Yeah. So I've been doing it for so many years. I've been training disabled people, elderly people, cancer patients, stroke survivors for free for 22 years. I've never took a penny of them. And it was purely because I understand people, I feel like money controls the world a bit too much, and money's not my God. And if I want to help somebody from the purest part of my soul, Lesley, there's no ATM, there's no cash, there's no checkbook. If someone's got cancer, if someone's got dementia, the least I can do is make that person smile, make that person remember me, make that person want to come back to me. And I'm not bothered about the money, because if I take your money, that means I don't really want to help you from the goodness of my heart. I want to help you because I want to get financial gain. So I've never ever took a penny off anybody disabled or elderly. And I've just never ever, I've had people try and make me turn into the other person, where I'm basically taking my top off all the time. The typical PT when I'm not trying to sell sex, I'm trying to sell inspiration. I'm not trying to I don't have to take off. You'll never see me, Lesley, ever with my nipples out. You know the guys, the baby oil. And
Javeno, I understand that, because I will see people, even in my own industry, and they'll be doing things and like, I could do that. I could also do it in with a sports bra on and little shorts and put the camera a lot closer. But that's not how I live my life in general. So that just feels fake to me. And I've never been a fake it person. I'm like, this is, I do my Pilates in these clothes today. Yeah. So that's what you're going to get. And no, I don't have makeup on today. And that's just because it didn't happen today. I like to be as real as possible. So I appreciate that you're like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it in my own way.
100%. And
I'm going to do it in a way that feels authentic. And I think that totally comes through, because when what happened was I got sent this amazing reel of you helping someone do something that like probably no one would ever think they could do. Or they would just go, well, that's the best they can do. So, and you were just encouraging them and showing them. And I think no matter who you are, no matter what's going on with your body, we all want to be a little bit better, a little bit stronger than we were yesterday. We all want that. And then you came up my feed and I showed my husband what you were doing. And then we just went through, I was like, look at this one, look at this, the kid putting the ring, and I was like, no way is he going to get it to the higher one. And then he got to the higher one. And I was just like, this is incredible. So what you are doing is inspiring people, because I left your feed inspired to go do whatever I was going to do in that day. Obviously our listeners are going to wonder how you actually pay your bills. So are you also training people who can pay you? Are you how is that happening so that you can give to these other people who need it the most?
Lesley, I struggle. My wife and my mother, everyone, they're trying to help me at the moment. I'm a very humble person. I hate talking about certain things, but I train. I'm a wicked trainer. I train elite athletes, man. I train elite champion athletes. I've got a community my community gym that I own is for the neighborhood. So I get people coming in every day from the neighborhood, regular people. It's just a section of my work, which is the disabled, and the people that need the most hope are the ones that I've never charged. Mm-hmm. So my bills are sorted with my regular customers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't really broadcast that as much as I should, because I want to showcase magic and amazing in other people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I really, I feel uncomfortable. Even in the last 2 years with all the things that have been going on in my life, sometimes the best I can do, Lesley, and I fear that people will feel that I'm arrogant, is the best response is sometimes to say, oh, thank you, because I love finding somebody. Let's say somebody that you've seen on the videos who's in a wheelchair. I believe I'm gifted, Les. And what I mean by that, Lesley, is I don't mean it big-headed. I don't need it boastfully. Your gift is what you can do better than everybody else. Your gift is what comes easy to you. So Michael Jordan, his gift was, we all know what that was. Any day, any time, he's rocking it. Anywhere he's doing it. Who else? Mike Tyson, anyone, that's their gift. On any day, they can perform better than anybody else. And I've always felt from a young age, Lesley, there's not a person on this planet I can't make fall in love with exercise. And when it comes to somebody with a disability, and again, Lesley, a day in my life, just to let you know, I have some of the most tricky situations on planet Earth to deal with. I have people who got terminal cancer. I've got people who have got conditions that they're not fixable. They're not going to get better. They're degenerative, where as they get older, it will get worse and worse and worse. And some of the conversations that I have with people will break any man's soul, any person's soul. When someone's got, we're lucky. Like I'm from Jamaica, so I'm from an island that there's not much going on there. So with me personally, I've always been very grateful, and every second that God's giving me to do this, I'm happy. I've got clothes on and socks, and I can watch, I can drink, and look, I've got aftershave, I've got cologne. I'm blessed. We're so blessed. So when you speak to somebody who doesn't realize how great life is, because the cards that they've been dealt, they've got a countdown to when they're taking their last breath. Think about that.
Yeah.
I have people recently who have come to me with terminal cancers and terminal illnesses. They know that they've got a countdown, but yet they want to spend it with Javeno. When you've given me that gift, best believe that every second you spend with me, I'm going to make you smile, girl. I'm going to make you happy. I'm going to put every bit of me into that session, because you've chosen me. And I believe that my gift is, anytime I've ever come across anybody with whatever situation, I've always said to them, give me 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes. I bet you I'm going to make you smile. I bet you I'm going to take you out of whatever your reality is right now if you don't feel too good. I guarantee you that little 20 minutes with me, I guarantee I'm going to put a smile on your face and make you want to come back. And that's all I can do. And I've never failed.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, I have chills and I believe it. And what I think is so cool is, like, first of all, for that person to even seek you out shows that they want to make the most of every breath that they have.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's luckier, those of us who don't know when our last breath is, or those who do. And maybe that's the wrong word to use, but there is something about someone choosing, this is where I'm going, and I'm going to make sure that I spend it with Javeno. Because he's going to show me what I'm still capable of.
Yeah, definitely.
And like to me, what I love is that you make them feel so seen, which is like huge for me, but also you show them what's so much more possible. And I think the rest of the world may like go, oh, poor them, or I'm so sorry for them. That's so sad what they're going through. And what I get from what you're doing is like, and this is what you have, and here's what we can do, and we can still smile, and we can still step over this pole. So it's just really amazing. I wonder, like, when did you start working with this population of people? Was it from the beginning of your training, or was it like happenstance? Can you take me back to what that was?
Yeah, so it was many years ago, Les. I'll tell you the quick story. Many years ago, was one thing with me, Les, is always about normality and redefining boundaries. I've always been that person. And I think normality is the most powerful thing on this planet. And I realized a long time ago, and when I tell you the story in a second, no matter who you are, no matter what your condition, elderly, disabled, whatever it is, all anybody wants is to be treated normal. And me now, I'm a father of 2 young boys, and God forbid if anything was to happen to my little boys, all I want is the world to treat my babies normal. Don't feel sorry for them and don't pity them. Treat them normal. And years ago, Les, long story short, I used to manage sessions. We call it the council. In the USA, you call it the government, baby. So I used to work for the government. And I used to do sessions all around the city and Manchester. And I had people that worked for me. And I was watching a session with this young guy, one of my members of staff, and he was teaching this young boy in a wheelchair. This young boy was so bored. He was so bored. He was 19. And I watched the session and he stayed in his wheelchair, Les. And then when the trainer went to go to the bathroom, this boy got up out of his chair and he walked over to where the water and the drinks was, and he poured himself a drink. So I came in the room and I went crazy at him. I said to him, don't you ever let another man or another person dilute your power. Don't ever let nobody tell you that you're meant to be in that chair. Like that chair defines you. I said, I've just watched you for 20 minutes lift the 2-pound weights, big strapping rugby player boy. And he was lifting weights that he knows he can do more. And then he could get up out of his chair. He could walk like a lot of disabled people or a lot of people in wheelchairs. They're not always in the wheelchairs forever. A lot of them can actually get up and move. And I said to him, don't ever let nobody dilute your power and tell you that you have to stay in that wheelchair. So when the trainer came back in, I said, you know what, you go home. I said, I'm going to take the rest of this session. And for the rest of the session, I made him stand up because I knew that he could. And even if he couldn't, I said, I've got you. I said, you're going to push yourself. You're 19 years old. And I said, you got all this life to live. You can't live an attack life by just being locked in your little box and letting the world and people tell you, you stay in your wheelchair, you do. I said, no. So I made him stand up for 20 minutes and he did it. I made him lift the bigger dumbbells. Nothing crazy, but a little bit heavier than what I know he could do. And at the end of the session, and this is what changed for me, Les. So this is where it was a little bit awkward, where this little boy's parents was in the room and his dad was massive. His dad was huge. His dad was so big. And he walked over and I thought, I don't know what's going to happen here, Les. I don't know whether because I didn't know. And he came over and he just started crying. And me and him hugged for about 20 minutes, in him and his wife. And we cried. And he was explaining to me everything that I was saying to him, people are scared to say to him because of his wheelchair. And he said, they tell him every day that you're lazy, you can do more. But because his mummy and daddy doesn't want to listen. And he said, I was the first person to ever talk to him and treat him normal. Because the world, when it comes to people that are disabled or elderly or vulnerable, they've got a thing where they don't want to offend and they don't want to tell him anything. So they said to me, I was the first person to treat him normal, and they loved it. They loved it. And I said to myself on that day, because you're in a wheelchair or disabled, you ain't no different from me or you or anybody else. So that was my approach from there. And it just, from there, people just started talking about me. It went a little bit crazy. And then in the last 6 years, when I opened my own facility, it's just gone absolutely crazy. It's just, yeah. I've never publicized it. Only 6 years ago was my first time that I posted a video. I've been doing it for 22 years and I've never posted a video because I didn't want anybody to think that I was exploiting people or trying to showcase me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think so many people can be so quick to judge things like, yeah. And it's like I think we forget that there's intention behind things. And yeah. I think that like you're a perfect example of like when the intention is good, then it should shine through. And there can be people, there'll always be people who see it differently. But what I think that is really amazing is that you're showing people what is possible. 100%. And also like that whole thing, I'm sure you've told your kids this, at least my parents did in the States, is like, never judge a book by its cover, never judge a book by its cover. And what you're showing is like, you're not judging a person in a wheelchair by the wheelchair. You're looking at their heart and you're looking at what's possible. You're figuring out what they want and you're showing them they could be even a little bit more than what they are. And then guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. So you can be a little bit more than yesterday. And there are people who don't have disabilities, who don't have terminal life illnesses, who need to hear that. There are people who are air quotes normal, who, because of the world's judging them or because what they've been told, they live in like, well, this is as good as it gets. And it sounds to me like your mission is really just to show people that there's always something more that they can do with themselves, no matter who they are.
100%. Les, a lot of my clients who are trained to this day, guess what? I don't know I don't know their disability. I don't have the conversation. Apart from certain people where I need to know medically and certain professional things, a lot of people who I train, the first thing that I say is, I don't care. I don't care about your wheelchair. I care about you. I don't care what you can't do. I care about what we're going to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been afraid, because I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm not a bully. You know what? You've seen the trainers who just shout and scream and just use the ego. And I've never been that person. I know I'm so professional in my preparation that I'm never afraid to hurt people. I'm more concerned about how many barriers we're gonna break. How many, and more, what I've noticed with a lot of people that I train is the boundaries, their capabilities. They set the bar so low because of because of the life that they've been given, the cards that they've been dealt. Natural human instinct is to set the bar here. So the first thing I do in the very first session is I get a gist of what that person thinks that they can't do, and I say, I'm gonna prove you wrong today. I'm not gonna do it next week. Like last week, one of my girls come in, beautiful little girl. She's 18. She's got cerebral palsy. She knows who she is. I'm not gonna say her name. And me and her was talking about press-ups, and she said, I can't do a press-up. I said, I've never done a press-up in my life. I said to you, in half an hour, I'm gonna show you that you can do a press-up. And then she was, nope. Les, we did 34 press-ups that day. And then she left that session, couldn't believe it. And I said, baby, we're only just getting started. I said, wait till next week. Wait until next week and the week after. And I think it's about just redefining boundaries. And when you do that with a human at any age, it's the most beautiful thing to watch. Beautiful.
Yeah. You know, in my first Pilates training, they taught me, this is what a beginner does for the 100. This is what a beginner's roll up is. This is a beginner. This is a beginner, right? And then I pass that test and you teach it intermediate. So now you take that person and you change the exercise and make it a little harder. You change it again, right? And so on and so on. Talk about the advanced. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like I went to a class and they just had me do the exercise. They didn't have me do a beginner. They just had me do the exercise. And then they offered options if you couldn't do the exercise.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So I went to another training and they taught me, this is the exercise. And if you need to change the exercise because someone can't meet it yet, then you think of it as borrowing money from the bank. You want the lowest interest loan. So you can go get, I don't know if you have this in the UK, but here we have these terrible loan places that are called like paycheck loans where the interest is so high. Once you get it, you're constantly borrowing from them because now you owe so much. You have to just go there, right? That bank is never going to get me to being able to afford a loan over here. It's never going to get there. So like, I always think of like taking that bar, or let me just use the word modification and go, what's the least amount? And that's why I end up working with athletes, is not because I was actually looking for them. It's because they came in and I was like, okay, let me see what you can do here. Okay, let's see if you can do this, until I could figure out where's the barrier, where are we limited? And then we can go to work. Right. And so I wonder, like, who trained you? Who taught you this? Like, have you always been this way, or like what turned that light switch on for you?
I'll be honest, Les, I've been crazy since I was small. I've been very determined since I was young. I remember I was 11 years old doing 100 press ups a day, 200 sit ups a day. I played cricket. I'm not sure if you know what cricket is. I was a top level cricket player. I played professional cricket for many years, so I was an athlete myself. And right now, I'm a powerlifter. I'm a Team GB powerlifter, and these are things that I rarely tell people, because again, my history of just being an athlete, I've seen what the human body can do, but I've seen the power, not of having muscles or being super fit. I've seen the power of involving people. I've seen the power, Les, of noticing people. I've seen it, like a lot of people don't get seen. I think about it, Les, it's so horrible. You can have somebody who is the fittest, strongest person, but they still feel depressed or sad because they don't really get noticed. People that I train, my main priority is to let them know, look them in the face and let them know, I see you. I ain't seeing you. I ain't looking around you or seeing your medication or your wheelchair or your walking stick or whatever, I see you. And I think when people notice that when they got somebody in front of them who actually gives a crap about them because I'm looking at them, I'm not looking through them or around them. You got to think a lot of disabled people are so awkward. People look around them and they don't want to notice them. I'm looking right at you because I want to know you. I want to know your story, your history. I want to know about your cat, your dog, your neighbor. I want to know what you're going to watch on TV tomorrow. I want to know what you're going to eat for your breakfast. I want to know all of that. And when they know that I want to know all of that, then they can ask me. And then we become friends. When we become friends, it's game over. We can do amazing things together. And I think being noticed is the most important thing. And it's the most empowering thing. And this is not what I realized a long time ago. And this is where many years ago, Les, I had many people we did photo shoots with a couple of magazines. I'm so happy that the following that I've got now, Les, is so organic, and I've done it in my way.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I saw so many people trying to get me to take my top off to show off my body and things like that, like everybody else was doing. And I said to him, and people thought I was crazy. I said, I don't care how much money you're gonna offer me. I don't care how many followers you think I'm gonna get on these platforms. I said, you'll never see me with my t-shirt off trying to flex my six-pack and trying to flex, because I ain't trying to sell that. And I'm so happy that I stood by what I believed. And now the work, because I already said to people, Les, that when people see the power of care, like real, genuine care, it will be the most powerful thing that you will ever see, because how can you not like it? Because it's the most organic thing. And I'm happy that I stood by everything that I said all them years ago.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's ultimate being it till you see it. It's like knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And then just trusting that being who you are is already enough. And that it's better to get to where you want to go as yourself than as being someone else, because you don't get to flip the switch. You don't get to put that shirt back on. I mean, you can, but the people who followed you because of the six-pack are going to be like, this is a terrible analogy, but many people who listen may not know this. I am on YouTube, and I have a lot of followers who followed me because I was barefoot. So oh yeah, it's a weird world. So Pilates exercises, I have that. So then my friends own a sock company for Pilates socks. I started wearing them, and they got very upset because I was now wearing socks on my feet. So so it actually made my viewership go down. Yes, it was enough to notice. It was enough to hit the bank. But I was like, well, who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for the people who want to see my bare feet? Or am I doing it for the people who want to learn the exercise? So socks are on most of the time. And, but like you have to do things in your authentic way. Otherwise, at some point, that person's going to come out, and it's either going to piss people off and deter them. It could lose everything you built, or you lose yourself in the process, which I think is much worse. So I think that when watching you do it in the way that makes sense to you is just proof that to everyone listening here, whatever it is that you want to do, whoever it is that you are, you don't have to do these shiny object things that get instant gratification to get to where you want to go. You can get there just being yourself.
Well, I'll tell you something, Les. What's the name of this podcast?
Be it till you see it.
1 second. 1 second. So this is a little bit. My manager went crazy at me, right? So listen, I get last that the week that you asked me to do the podcast, I got asked by 12 other podcasts, and I'm at the stage where if I don't like your face or your vibe, I'll say no. So all of these books, right? And just to let you know, look, I've got no socks on as well. Look. But
you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see this all.
All of these books here that I've got here, right? These are all quotes, things that I write down that make over the years, over 22 years, quotes from people, quotes from myself that make sense that I need to learn and revise. Yeah? All these things. In one of my first books, guess what it says?
Be it till you see it.
Yes! So soon as I seen that, I said, 100% I need to come on this show and meet this lady. because that there is, and this is the thing, Les, when you're talking about being organic, anytime I film a video, anytime I'm working with somebody, it's never scripted. It's not 3, 2, 1, do this, do that. And I've had loads of cameras over the last 2 years, big TV companies come in, and I've had to explain to them, this is not a gimmick, this is my life. These are real people. So anytime people are filmed, I've had to let them know, this is the most important thing. It's not you guys getting good footage, it's me making sure that I'm doing my job with the people that I'm training. If you want to film, you film from the outside and capture what you want. But at the end of the day, whoever I'm training, my job is to give that person the most magic, the most amount of amazing in 30 minutes as I can. You just record from over there. And I think just being organic and being yourself, I'm so glad that people notice that it's just me being myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see me in a lot of my videos with sliders or bloody or barefoot. I wear in the summertime, I don't wear socks because I feel more free when I've got bare feet. And people always say things, and even now that my following is getting bigger, you always get the one stupid person. Why has he got no health and safety? Why has he not got shut up? Shut up. Let me just be happy. Let me be happy. I don't want to wear socks. And I think exactly what you said, just being organic and real. And I think the person I'm training, they see that and feel it. And it makes them want to give me a bit more because they know that I'm being as real as I can. And then it lets them open up to me.
Yeah, I think one of the best compliments I ever got, I was in Australia. I was in a car with some people who hired me to come down and teach. And I wanted to go to this one store. And I was like, can we go? I know that we all want to go to dinner, but like, can we go to the store before it closes? Because I really want to buy this dress at this place. And they were in this car and we're like laughing and talking, whatever. And they're like, you're the same person online as you are like in person. And I was like, yeah. Are people not around you? Like,
no, and that's the crazy thing. In our industry, there's so much fakery and people pretending, because let's be real, if you pretend to be something that you're not, you're more likely to make some money doing something. And now we're at the point now where I think the real people need to stand up a little bit more and be heard, because that's what the fitness and health is about. Fitness, health, and well-being is about this. It's not about the BS that we see on Instagram every day, and it's not healthy. And I'm so glad that people are noticing real influencers.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad about that.
So I want to know, like, where, because you're being it till you see it all the time. So where are you trying to grow next? Like, what is your ultimate dream next? Like like we could snap our fingers, we can make it happen, but you're already acting as if it is. So where do you want to go, Javeno, with all this?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest and real. Let me tell you this, Les. So every single day, right, I get hundreds of messages from people all over the world, from countries that I didn't even know existed. Uganda, Botswana, Yemen. Did you know there's a country called Yemen? I didn't. Yemen. All these people sending me beautiful messages, but I'll never post them because that's a personal, private, beautiful thing between me and that person. I get hundreds of videos from people who watch my videos, who are disabled, and they copy what I've done in the videos and they send me to say, look, babe, look what you've made me do. So an example, I always talk about this young boy, copied a video of me and Josh, one of my youngsters, and he was in his bedroom holding onto the dressing table, like the closet thing, and he copied it and he held himself up out of his wheelchair for 20 seconds and he's screaming, saying, Jay, look what I did. And he was just crying his eyes out, saying, because he watched my video, it made him realize that wheelchair doesn't define him and he can do what Josh did in the video. And I received hundreds of them. So now, Les, how many more thousands of people around the world can I get to do that? How many more people with dementia? How many more people with cancer, stroke, cerebral palsy? How many more people around the world? If I let's say now, 10,000 people have sent me videos, disabled people from all over the globe, saying, look, oh my God, you've made me do this. How many more millions can we reach? So the plan is to just keep on doing what I'm doing and keep on spreading this as far and wide as I can. Because when people see real organic care, real beautiful interactions, wholesome interactions, whether you're able-bodied or disabled, it's the most inspiring thing that you'll see.
Yeah.
And I think that's my goal. My goal isn't to I'm not bothered about cars and this and that. My goal is to do exactly what I'm doing now and touch every corner of the globe.
Yeah, you want to you want your impact to just spread far and wide. In your defense, I learned from Yemen from the show Friends. So
oh yeah, the episode with Chandler when he went, oh yes.
You know, I love that. I love that so much. And I want to ask you, and if you don't have the full answer yet, then please just let my team know so we can add it in when you do. But like, obviously y'all are going to listen to this, are going to share every one of his reels to people, because even if you only have 70 followers, you have a following, and those 70 people need to see this. But aside from sharing what you're doing, is there anything that we can do to support spreading the word and helping you make this impact that you want to make?
Keep on sharing the videos. That's all. Listen, there's always somebody watching. That's what I realized when some of these videos have gone so viral. There's always somebody watching. There's always everybody knows somebody elderly, everybody knows somebody disabled, everybody knows somebody going through a hard time.
Yeah.
These videos are so powerful, and I'm so blessed that I'm in a position where my videos are impacting people so powerfully. I get grown men every day crying and women all over the world crying, and I think I'm just happy, Les. I'm happy with everything that's going. And one thing that I really would love to do is, do you know about the world records, Les?
The what?
The world records.
World records? Yeah, like Guinness?
Yeah, so I've got last year, I've got 2 world records. I've got the world record for the biggest wheelchair exercise class, and I've got the world record for the biggest disabled exercise class. I've got an idea for this year. I'm gonna break the world record again, but I'm gonna set it up as I'm gonna do it in a big room, like a room or arena in Manchester. But I'm also gonna give people around the world an opportunity to join in via Zoom. Yeah. I'm gonna get a big screen.
Yes, you can have everyone's faces on there.
You see, yes, Les,
yes.
exactly.
Oh, I'm in. Can you get isn't there like a big soccer, like football stadium in Manchester? Isn't there I'm
gonna try. We're trying to get into a stadium, but ideally, whenever I do make that announcement, anyone who follows me, I think if everyone could share that, and we can have a world record that's involving disabled people from around the world, Les, that would be absolutely.
Well, please sign us up for however we can help you. And we want to, I wish I knew someone who owned a stadium to donate it to you, but maybe I do. Maybe one of my people listening to this can let me know if I'm how many degrees away we are. But I love this because, I think people get bogged down by how much shit is happening in the world. There's so you open up any app and there's obviously people doing stuff, but there's also just these big catastrophes happening to people all over the world. And I think people get overwhelmed. I can't do anything about that. And I feel that as someone who has a big heart, I feel that. And I think it's not about us help. You don't have to be the person who's trying to solve all the world's problems. You just have to find one problem that you're so passionate about and you go all in on that. And what you're doing is bringing so much light to a population of people that have either been written off or underestimated or not noticed because people don't know what to do when they're with them. And so I love that because that changes the world. If more people feel seen, and this is why I teach Pilates, because it helped me connect more to myself. And when you connect to yourself, you can connect more to others. That's really what it is, right?
Definitely.
So I do this because I know that if more people are connected to themselves, they connect more to others, there's world peace. We're all of a sudden just better people. The more people feel seen in this world, the more they feel empowered to do whatever it is on this planet that they could do. And so I just love what it is I just love that so much. And I hope that if you're listening, whatever that is for you, it can be anything. It could be any kind of population of people or plants or something, but go all in with this passion and don't let there be a barrier to it. Like, don't set yourself up like there's a barrier. So I feel like you've inspired me, and I hope you're inspiring everyone listening, that you don't have to stop just because this is what the RX for something or someone is.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree any more or less. And one thing that I really noticed is, look at this now. Did you say, let me tell me about your family. Tell me about your immediate family that you've got now.
Oh, I have my parents. My dad is 70. He deadlifts, you guys, almost 300 pounds, just so you know.
Go on, Daddy.
I know. And then I have my mom. She's a school teacher for first graders. And then I have a brother and sister. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. So now listen to this. If Lesley is sad or upset, Mummy and Daddy feel that pain. Your brother, your sisters. If you go through something and you're not good, your mum, your dad, your family, they're riding with you. Every cry, every tear, every bit of sadness that you have, your mum and dad and your family feel that just as much as you, because they love you. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I'm so grateful of is the family involvement with what I'm doing. So somebody that I'm training, whether they're in a wheelchair or not, cancer, dementia, stroke, the happiness that their families are now getting is unbelievable. There's every single person who I train, their families will message me and ring me and come and see me to tell me that the impact that it's making on not just the person who I'm training, but that person's family, that person's mum and dad, that person's grandmother, grandfather, that person's husband, wife, whoever. So every single person that I'm training, it's never just about me making that person happy. If I make that person happy, that filters through the entire family. And before you know it, Les, I've been welcomed into hundreds of new families, and it's the most beautiful thing. When I go somewhere, when I walk around my local community, to be honest now, when I go anywhere in the world and people realize, and people can sometimes say things to me, but let's say in Manchester and in England, when somebody says, I know the person that you train because maybe I'm related to that person. You've made my whole family happy because now whoever the person is now happier, they're more joyful, they're laughing again, they're smiling again. People have forgotten how to smile less. Yeah. Because the world's not in a good place and there's so much sadness. A lot of people don't smile anymore, they don't laugh anymore. So when somebody says I've made their grandmother laugh again and smile again and want to start showing more of who they are, because a lot of people have lost themselves with COVID, with the war in Ukraine, with the cost of living, with everything that's going on. It's making families happy, and I'm so glad that I'm the person that's opening that floodgate of love, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to it, it's like we forget that the actions we take to help others it's a chain reaction. Yeah, and so definitely. your one thing that feels small is actually much bigger than you'll ever know. And someday, hopefully you'll be in a place like you are where you get to hear about that daisy chain effect that's going on. Javeno, you have kids and a spouse and everything. It must be so fun for them to be around you because you have so much energy. Are they involved in what you do, or are they like not a respite, but like your time away is with them?
Yeah, it's a bit. I got two beautiful boys and my wife. And my wife's obviously, she knows I'm a bit crazy. The energy.
She loves it.
She does. I mean, my little boys are crazy. They've got my energy. My youngest Leo, he's only one. He's not got a clue what's going on. He just wakes up every day, Les, and he just goes all day. That's all he does. All he does. That's all he does.
He's learning his voice, and he hears you yelling, so he thinks he's talking.
That's what he does. My eldest son Mason, his energy is, and to be honest, he understands what Daddy's doing now, and he sees how far it's going and how many people I'm helping, and he's very proud, and my wife's very proud as well. And And that's what it's all about for me, just making the family proud, making me mum and dad and my wife and everyone proud. And I can only make them proud if every single time I'm on a platform to speak, I'm just as real and as honest and as organic as I can be. And that's all that matters. And I'm glad, fingers crossed, it continues. And I'm glad that I'm glad with how it's going, man.
Yeah. Well, Javeno, I want to talk to you for hours, but you also have a family, and it is getting to be at least dinner time, if not past it, where you are. So we're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to find out where people can find you, follow you, stalk you like I did, and your Beit action items. All right, Javeno, where do you like to hang out? Where can people help you, support you, follow you, all those things?
Well, guys, I'm on socials. I'm 38 years old, so I'm new to all the social media things. So I'm on Instagram, J7 Health. I think, what's my name? What's my name? J7 Health Javeno, I think I'm called on Instagram. I'm TikTok. I've been on TikTok for about 10 months and it's gone crazy. My TikTok name is, what is it?
Your TikTok name, I don't know, but your Instagram is J7 Health Javeno. That's it. Yeah. We'll get your TikTok definitely linked below for sure.
I can see it here. TikTok is Javeno7, guys. Go on there, follow, and listen. I'm not trying to sell nothing. All I want people to do is, if you like the video, comment, say something nice. And if you know somebody that maybe would benefit from seeing the video, pass that joy on, pass on that love, and then it will keep on spreading. That's all I wish. That's all I want.
All right. You've given us so many things to think about, but bold, executable, intrinsic, targeted steps people can take to be it till they see it. What do you have for us?
Family. I genuinely believe that if your family are at the front of your thoughts all the time, you'll always have a reason to be yourself and a reason to not let people down, especially the ones that mean the most. And when it comes to being it till you see it, I think you need to understand the journey, understand that people won't understand where you want to go. People are not going to understand your dream because it's yours. The dream and the vision that you created for yourself and your family or your mission, other people are not going to see it the way you want to. Only you can see it. And you have to understand that not everyone's going to be supportive. Not everyone's going to want you to win. And you need to understand that it doesn't really matter what everybody else wants. All that matters is what you want, and just be passionate about it and do everything that you need to do to keep your passion alive. And that's one thing that I make sure that I do every single day. Like every single day, Les, I listen to Justin Bieber. Do you know why? Because I like Justin Bieber. People look at a big black guy and want me to listen to Snoop Dogg. I don't want to listen to Snoop Dogg. I want Justin Bieber. I like Bon Jovi. You know Bon Jovi?
I do.
Tommy works alone in the dark. Yeah, that's my jam, Les. But I make sure that I do things every day to make Javeno happy, because it's all about just being as honest as you can for yourself. And I think when you're talking about investing in something and trying to achieve something, just be yourself, whether there's a tsunami or a tornado. There's going to be so many things that are going to want to shape your personality and your character. Make sure you stay solid. Make sure you stay solid and do what you want to do. And that's how you really achieve, I think. And I think when you like the podcast is called Beit Until You See It, I think there's nothing more powerful than that. That saying, as soon as I seen the name of the podcast, it blew me away, because it's something that I've literally done my whole life. And this is why it makes sense for me to speak to you, Les. Thank you for the opportunity, girl. Really do appreciate it.
Javeno, thank you so much. Truly, this was a dream. And it blew my dreams out of the water. It was everything more than I ever anticipated. You were amazing. Y'all, how are you going to use these tips in your life? I want you to tag Javeno. I want you to tag the Beit Pod. I want you to share this episode, no matter how you know how to share it. I don't care if you just show it to someone or if you actually know the tech to share it. Don't let that stop you from taking something that inspired you and giving it to someone else, because that could be the best thing you do for them that day. I'm so grateful for Stephen for sharing your reel with me, because that's how we got here. And you always bring a smile to my face, and I can tell you're changing the lives of those you're with. So, Javeno, thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, be it till you see it.
Thank you, Les.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Blue Podcast Network.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Kroll.
It is produced and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Chofa.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals and Samena Velasquez for our transcriptions.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all the content to our website, and finally to Meredith Kroll for keeping us all on point and on time.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Lesley! Let's do it, girl. Thank you for inviting me. Let's talk some shit. Let's talk.
Okay.